Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we're diving into something that is literally going to shift how you experience movement. We're looking at how dancers of all levels can finally demystify musicality and stop merely executing steps alongside the music. Whether you're a beginner just finding your footing or a seasoned competitor, there is a massive difference between just counting a beat and actually telling a musical story with your body. So today we're breaking down the practical, actionable steps to bridge that gap.
To get there, we're building a pyramid of mastery today. We'll kick things off by defining what musicality actually is, then lay a foundation with listening and timing, move up to phrasing and dynamics, tackle mapping and freestyling, and finally, wrap it all up with a bulletproof weekly training routine that you can take straight to the studio.
All right, part one, what is musicality? The core connection. So what actually is it? Well, it's that magic that makes a dance feel totally connected to the music, rather than just, happening alongside it. It's what allows you to respond to shifts in the track with absolute clarity and emotion. Whether you're freestyling, doing strict choreo, or hitting the ballroom floor, true musicality, it's all about landing on those right moments. Without it, the music is basically just background noise for your workout. But with it, you literally become the physical embodiment of the song itself.
But here's the thing. To embody the song, you actually have to know what you're listening to, right? A lot of dancers make the mistake of chasing speed or crazy complex coordination right out the gate. But you've got to separate the steady underlying rhythm, think of that like a constant drum pattern, from the changing musical events. The events are the melodies, sudden vocal riffs, deep bass drops. You get the idea. Think of it this way. The steady rhythm is your canvas, and those musical events, that's your paint. You have to train your brain to distinctly hear both.
Moving right into part two, foundation. This is all about listening and timing, or as I like to call it, building your internal metronome.
And building that metronome actually starts with your ears, not your feet. Imagine doing this really simple drill right now. You throw on a track, and before taking a single step, just physically clap or tap the beat for about 60 to 90 seconds. But, and here's the secret sauce, while you tap, mentally name every single musical event you hear. Think to yourself, okay, kick on 1 and 3, or oop, here comes the chorus. Doing this actively trains your internal metronome, which means your body is going to follow so much more reliably when it's time to actually move.
Once your ears are tuned in, we got to lock in that timing. Start with some strict metronome counting practice. Keep it comfortable and just repeat a super simple movement phrase for 8 counts. Once you've got that, stretch it out to 16 counts. And look, the goal here is absolutely not to look flashy. You want to shift your focus to cleanly arriving at specific accent moments. Trust me, hitting the downbeat with total precision is way, way more impressive than just moving continuously but looking sloppy.
Okay, part three, expression. This is where phrasing and dynamics come in, helping us shape the movement.
Now, music is built on phrases, right? Short sections that begin, develop, and resolve. When dancers treat their movement like one giant continuous block, the musicality just kind of vanishes. Instead, try turning musical accents into specific movement phrases. When you hear a heavy drum hit, a vocal pop, or a sudden drop in volume, let that dictate a specific body action. Throw a sharp elbow, a crisp head turn, or just hit a perfectly clean freeze. Even the most subtle change in your timing makes your dancing instantly read as deeply, deeply musical.
But hey, it's not just hitting the accents, it's the dynamics too. Your dynamics have to match the music. Think of different song sections as completely different environments. During a verse, keep your motions smaller, smoother. Then, when that chorus hits and the track gets louder and thicker, you've got to match that intensity by increasing your physical range and speed. And when you drop into the bridge or a breakdown, pull it all back. Reduce your energy, emphasize total control. If you practice this, you'll literally ride the emotional wave of the track without even thinking about it.
Which brings us to part 4, mapping and freestyling. This is our strategic application. If you want to level up quickly, you absolutely cannot treat every second of a song the same way. You have to map out its structure. By setting a simple rule for each part of the track, freestyle becomes this highly repeatable strategy instead of, just a guessing game. Try this. For the intro, move sparingly. Just establish your posture. In the verse, add in your rhythmic footwork. Catch a groove. Chorus hits, boom, unleash those bigger shapes and highly visible accents. And for the bridge, play around. Experiment with dramatic pauses. Change your height levels. Switch up your directions. And that brings up a really crucial point about specific adjustments. Honestly, progress in musicality usually only becomes obvious when you review your own footage. So record yourself, just 15 to 30-second clips of your freestyle, and watch them back with the audio. But don't overwhelm yourself with a million critiques. Just give yourself one super clear directive for the next take. Something like, all right, this time stick the freeze on the snare, or increase the energy at the chorus downbeat. Keep it simple.
Finally, part 5, the weekly training routine, our capstone.
All right, so here is your ultimate blueprint. Remember, musicality improves through regular, varied practice, not through those exhausting marathon sessions. Try this. Start with a 3 to 5 minute listening warm-up. No moving, just finding the beat. Next, do 5 to 10 minutes of timing drills with your metronome. Follow that up with about 8 to 12 minutes of phrasing practice, where you're matching those song sections. Then jump into 8 to 15 minutes of freestyle application using the map rules we just talked about. And finally, wrap the whole thing up with 3 to 5 minutes of video review. If you consistently use this exact structure just a few times a week, your dancing is going to feel incredibly intentional.
Because here's the absolute truth. Repetition with targeted feedback is exactly how musicality becomes consistent. When you're reviewing that video playback, you're not trying to fix the whole shebang at once. Just pick one single adjustment to take into your next session. By isolating that feedback, your progress is basically guaranteed. So I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge. Next time you watch a recording of yourself dancing, ask yourself this. Are there moments where you just move through a change instead of actually responding to it? Are you genuinely connected to the music, letting it dictate the energy and shape of your body? Or are you just running through a checklist of steps while a song happens to be playing in the background? Master your listening, map your dynamics, and go turn that background noise into your absolute best dance partner. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and have fun putting these tools to work.